In this video, we're going to talk about what is accumulation. Stay tuned. Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. Okay, so you've probably heard of this term, accumulation or accumulating stock. What exactly does it mean? So in the context of a chart or in a market, this is what it means. It basically means that the market or the stock, I'm going to kind of reference them both here, is basing. Long positions are built, but there's no upward stock move. So if we had this scenario here, normally you would expect if long positions, people are coming in long and longs are more aggressive, buyers are more aggressive than sellers, you're going to get this kind of scenario, an uptrend move in the price. Accumulation occurs when price perhaps has come down from a high like this, and we have found a kind of base and we have just sat in a range at the low of a move, and people are accumulating long positions. So accumulation, in other words, it's a kind of equilibrium point. You know, buyers are potentially accumulating longs here between these kind of ranges, top of the range, bottom of the range, middle of the range, however you want to split it up. And sellers aren't becoming so aggressive that it's being pushed back through the lows. So you get this basing pattern after a downtrend. So what does it mean for us as traders, and how can we profit from this kind of thing, or how can we potentially keep an eye out for it? Let's take the whole lot off, we don't need this anymore. How can we potentially use it? So we would have this scenario. Price is moving lower. Let's say it's moved lower, and now it's kind of sitting in this zone where we think we're in an accumulation phase. In other words, buyers are kind of accumulating a bit of stock, but they're not aggressive enough to push it up. Now, one way of obviously profiting from it is to trade the range independently and be shorting highs, buying lows, using some kind of oscillator. Fair enough. Is that the best way? It's feasible. It's a possible way of trading things. And obviously, once you zoom that in into kind of 15-minute or an hourly chart, there would potentially be some opportunities there. However, you would look at this on an overall spectrum and say, okay, well, if we believe now that longs are accumulating at these lows, what's going to happen next? Two things are going to happen next. They are going to prevail, and ultimately sellers are going to back off the throttle, and we're going to get pushed to highs. Let's go with a purple pen here. It's going to get pushed to highs, so you're going to get a trade from that perspective. Or the other option is that all this accumulation of longs, and by the way, the longer we sit in this range, the more likely a lot more people are going to be positioned in one direction. We could then see potentially a kind of maybe fake out to the high and then a rollover, takes out the low and might put those longs under a bit of pressure. You know, are they going to come stop out straight away? Possibly not. You know, these guys might have a longer term view on the situation, which is slightly different from this kind of range break fake trade that we've talked about before, which is more of a short term strategy. So, you know, obviously, as with all setups, guys, it depends a lot on what happens this side of the chart. And, you know, I've talked a lot about this, and I will keep saying it because I think that for me, that's the key to analysing and assessing what's going to happen short term, is saying, you know, what's happened before we've got this kind of pattern. So if we are looking for accumulation pattern, and perhaps we're going to join them on the long side, how has it looked before? Have we kind of rallied before, pulled back down, and we're still generally in an uptrend, and we're now accumulating a percentage off the high, 50% off the high, 30% off the high, or something like that, in which case it makes it maybe a feasible proposition to join that. Or, you know, have we got a situation where, you know, we've come down from a really high point down and we're accumulating basing at lows, and people are just probing long. They're not quite sure yet, but they're just having a little probe long. Sellers have backed off the throttle a little bit. Buyers are accumulating some longs. And in which case, you know, once you see that, what happens in the future, you know, this will affect what happens in the future, because if we continue lower, potentially these people are kind of got it wrong and might have to reconsider what they're doing. If we start to push higher, then the possibility we might not push as high, because maybe people have accumulated in this area all the stock they were going to. So we might just get a little bit of a push, but not a continued drive. Compare that to the V-shaped reversal that we could get, which means that all those buyers there are going to have to be in here now, and you end up just staggering things even higher. So that's accumulation, guys. See you in the next one. Take care. Keep your risk managed. Goodbye.